With a flick of his tail and a flash of his fangs, Sparky the dragon lets loose a torrent of flames that immediately sets his latest batch of dough on fire. Turns out being a magnificent fire-breathing beast doesn't automatically make you a Michelin star chef, especially when your ingredients keep spontaneously combusting. But this little dragon is determined to become a Pizziolo despite having the attention span of a hummingbird and the subtlety of a volcano eruption. So watch as our adorably mischievous scaly friend battles boiling broths, those that defy gravity and toppings that take flight in this delightfully chaotic comedy of errors. Because if you thought cooking was hard, try doing it while breathing fire. It's a hot mess, literally. Scaly Shenanigans, the first attempt. After watching just a bit too much of the cooking channel, our hero dragon Sparky decides he has what it takes to become a top-notch pizza chef. With a flick of his tail and a flash of his fangs, he lets loose a torrent of flames that immediately sets his latest batch of dough on fire. Well, almost on fire. It's more like scorched around the edges. Singed, not baked. And there's still a very confused squirrel stuck inside. Sparky decides he needs more practice, though the small woodland creatures watching from afar are starting to get a little nervous about what happens when he runs out of squirrel-sized pizzas. Our first attempt at creating our dragon's perfect pie is, well, charitably called rustic, with a thick crust that looks like the underside of a charcoal grill and toppings that have more in common with cremated remains than chopped veggies. This isn't exactly gone wrong in any pizza eating contests unless the competition is blindfolded and holding their breaths. At least one ingredient made it through unscathed though. Nestled amidst the blackened bits of pepperonis and mushrooms is a single, perfectly roasted mushroom. One ingredient pizza, 99 problems, but a deliciousness ain't one. Maybe Sparky should stick to pizza toppings instead of pizza making. Ingredient inferno, shopping spree. Now that he's mastered the art of pizza inception, it's time for our aspiring young chef to go shopping for ingredients. What could possibly go wrong? After setting off some mild but definitely unnecessary fireworks displays with his enthusiastic fire breath, Sparky arrives at the local farmer's market with an impressive array of scorched vegetables. It's not exactly the ideal shopping list for a pizza place, but he's determined to make it work. He might have turned the nearby cheese display into fondue, but hey, that's a potential new menu item. Fondue Fridays, anyone? And the owner probably won't notice given the whole molten cheese waterfall dripping from the ceiling. In fact, nothing bad can possibly happen from here on out. Right? Wrong. After a dramatic struggle involving a runaway cheese grater, a near meltdown of the shop's espresso machine, and several singed eyebrows, Sparky realizes his dragon-sized paws aren't exactly suited for delicate grocery shopping. Time to head home and enlist some reinforcements. But wait, what's this? Tucked away in the secret compartment of his lair is a collection of oddly familiar spices labeled dragon-friendly. Could this be the secret ingredient that will turn his pizzas into a legendary delicacy or send him straight to the fiery pits of Flavor Town? Let's open this box. Ooh, lava flakes. Sounds healthy. And volcanic ash. Perfect for that extra special smoky flavor. Wait, why does everything smell like feet? The great flame-grilled dough disaster. Despite his best efforts to acquire edible ingredients, Sparky's culinary curiosity knows no bounds. What if the perfect pizza could be cooked in one giant pizza oven? Enter stage left, a massive hollowed-out cavern that is roughly the shape of his mouth. Forget all those fancy pants wood-fired ovens used by those lesser pizza makers. This is gonna take his pizza game to a whole new level. All he has to do now is fit a dough-covered rock into said mouth cavity, light said rock on fire with said flames, and then voila, spit it out into said waiting cavern. Yep. Everything's going according to plan. That rock is now a pizza. A pizza that vaguely resembles a meteor hurtling towards Earth, but a pizza nonetheless. And our discerning dragon foodie is here to tell us if it's good. Just remember, don't eat the sprinkles. They're actually pieces of coal. You know what? I think I need a bigger sample size. And with that, he chows down on the entire pizza in one bite, leaving behind only a fine layer of ash where the pizza once was. Turns out the temperature inside his mouth wasn't quite right. Who would have guessed? But is a pizza edible? Is it good? Does it even matter? We'll find out soon enough. And maybe, just maybe, Sparky has a shot at becoming the world's greatest pizza chef. Or maybe he should stick to eating the pizzas instead of making them. After all, someone's gotta do it. A taste test montage of varying woodland creatures tentatively approaching the pizza and taking tiny bites before dashing away in terror or collapsing in a delicious food coma ensues. A chipmunk, a rabbit, a deer, a badger, an owl, a fox, a porcupine, a mouse, a squirrel, a skunk, a possum, a raccoon, a frog, a toad, a turtle, a snake, a bird, a fish, a starfish, a lobster, a crab, a shark, a giraffe, an elephant, a rhino, a hippopotamus, a monkey, a lion, a tiger, a bear, an ORC, a troll, a goblin, a pixie, a gnome, a dwarf, a mermaid, a mummy, a vampire, a werewolf, a zombie, a ghost, a skeleton, a witch, a wizard, a sorcerer, a warlock, a demon, an angel, God. And finally, Buddha takes their turn sampling the pizza. Most run off screaming in terror, others faint dead away. But a few can't stop licking their chops and begging for seconds. And so we come to the conclusion that this pizza is neither entirely inedible nor a gourmet delicacy, but rather something akin to burnt toast with slightly spicy sprinkles. Not great, not terrible, but certainly memorable. Phoenix from the ashes, a culinary comeback. Dejected but determined, Sparky decides his pizza dreams aren't over yet. After all, even the greatest chefs started somewhere, right? So with a heavy heart and a lighter wallet, he enlists the help of a tiny, but surprisingly skilled gnome chef named Giblet to teach him the delicate art of not incinerating everything. Now, Giblet was no ordinary gnome. He had trained under the toughest pizzaiolos in the hidden hearth, apprenticed in the fiery kitchens of Mount Cinder, and could flip a pizza dough with a flick of his pointy hat. But even he was taken aback by Sparky's enthusiastic incompetence. However, seeing the earnest determination in the dragon's eyes, Giblet took pity on him and agreed to help. Under Giblet's patient tutelage, Sparky learned to tame his fiery breath, coaxing it into gentle puffs instead of mighty blasts. And slowly but surely, they began to create a pizza that smelled like deliciousness instead of impending doom. The sauce simmered, The dough rose and the toppings sparkled. Could this be it? Finally, a pizza worthy of a dragon's palate. Just as the dish was almost ready to go into the oven, Giblet turned to his student and said, "Do you really think you're ready, Sparky?" The dragon took a deep breath, both literally and figuratively, and replied, "I may not have been born with a pizza stone in my claws, but I can learn, right?" With Giblet's guidance, he carefully slid the masterpiece onto the peel and into the oven. Seconds ticked by, each one an eternity. Then the timer dinged and the door swung open. Nestled inside was a golden-hued pizza that looked almost too pretty to eat. Almost. Giblet beamed and said, "That, my young Padawan, is what I call pizza perfection," and Sparky couldn't help but agree. The crust was golden-hued and topped with a tapestry of melted cheese and vibrant veggies. Little did he know the pizza was about to embark on its own adventure. Fiery feast, the aftermath and future. To apologize for all the chaos he'd caused, Sparky decided to throw a pizza party for all the creatures he'd accidentally inconvenienced. There were woodland creatures, swamp dwellers, mountain goats, and even a few brave or foolish humans who ventured into the enchanted wood. All were welcome to enjoy Sparky's surprisingly delicious pizzas. As the forest echoed with laughter and the smell of wood smoke, Sparky knew he'd finally found his calling, bringing people together with good food and good company. But that doesn't mean he's done experimenting in the kitchen. Who knows what culinary concoctions he'll whip up next? Perhaps a perfectly charred loaf of bread or s'mores carefully roasted over an open fire. The possibilities are endless. For our little dragon chef, the most important lesson he learned was that even a dragon can become a pizza pro with a little help from his friends, and sometimes even a little fire. And with that, we end our story of Sparky the dragon who wanted to be a pizza chef. But before we say goodbye, we've got a question for you. What dish do you want to see Sparky try to make next? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to check out our blooper reel of Sparky's earlier mishaps. We've been your host. Until next time, keep an eye out for dragons with culinary ambitions and never stop believing in the power of pizza. Thanks for watching with Hanum Cartoon.